What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Last Word Sports Podcast. I'm your host tonight, Scott Gavertz, and I'm going to be giving you my 5 locks of the week for NFL Week 12. So these are my 5 favorite picks against the spread, the teams that I think will cover this week. Hopefully you should go bet on them. Don't get mad at me if they're wrong, but this is just my advice. So I'm going to start them off with a little bit of homerism. I'm going to take my G-Men playing in Cincinnati. They're 6-point favorites. I know it's a road favorite, but the Bengals are playing without their starting quarterback, rookie Joe Burrow, who's been great this year. He got injured really bad towards ACL. I think it's even worse than that last week against Washington. And they were up 9-7 when Burrow got injured. He goes out. Ryan Finley comes in, plays horrible. They lose 20-9. Their backup quarterback, Ryan Finley, is bad. They benched him for this upcoming game. They're playing Brandon Allen, who played a couple games with the Broncos last year. Completed like 45% of his passes, late round draft pick. He's no good either. The Bengals are a 2-7-1 team. They're a bad team. They're out of the playoff hunt. They're playing for a pick now. They've got a pretty bad defense all around. Not a great offensive line. A bad offensive line, really. Joe Mixon's on IR. Joe Burrow's out for the year. I like the Giants here. Coming off of 2 straight wins. Daniel Jones' first 2 career games with no turnovers. And they're coming off their bye week with a good coach like Joe Judge. A bye week can help your team a lot. I know they fired their offensive line coach, the Giants did, during the bye week, but I still trust Judge to get the job done here. The Giants are in the thick of a playoff race. If they win, they'll actually be tied with Washington, and they have the tiebreaker over Washington for first place in the NFC East. So this is a big game for the Giants. Cincinnati's season is kind of over. I like the Giants to win by more than the touchdown here. Next up, we have Miami at the New York Jets. The Jets are 6.5-point underdogs at home. I like Miami here. Again, the Jets have been playing better recently with Joe Flacco. They covered against the Chargers last week, played them pretty close. They've also played teams like the Patriots well. And Miami had a really bad, stunning upset loss last week in Denver. Even though things have been going well for them, they had won a lot of games in a row before that with Tua as the QB. And Tua got pulled late in the fourth quarter, benched. I think people are overreacting. Brian Flores is a great coach. Miami's a much more talented team. Miami is like 6-4. They're in the thick of the playoff race. They're really contending for the division wildcard spot. They've got a lot to play for. The Jets are the only team in the NFL who is still winless. And don't get this wrong, okay? Joe Flacco's been playing well the last few weeks. Sam Darnold's back. He's going to start Sunday. And the Jets have covered in one game this entire year that Sam Darnold has played in. They are a horrible team. They lose really badly. No disrespect to Darnold. He's in a bad situation, but they've just not covered it all when he's been playing. And by the way, back to my other pick, the Giants. The Giants have covered a bunch of games in a row. They're one of the hottest teams in the NFL against the spread. That's also why I like them. But with the Jets, they're one of the worst teams in the NFL against the spread when Darnold plays. Miami played them the last time they played, beat them 24-0. So I really think people, 6.5, the Jets have been getting spreads of 13, 18, just ridiculously high spreads this year. 6.5, really, I think Miami should be able to handle it, beat them by a touchdown. Next up, I have Baltimore at Pittsburgh. This game is kind of weird. It was moved to Tuesday night. And Pittsburgh is, I think, 11-0 now. They're undefeated. They're a really good team. And I think it's kind of become trendy to hate on Baltimore now that they've lost a couple in a row, a couple tough games. Lost to Tennessee in overtime last week. I still think Baltimore's a pretty good team, and the last time that they played Pittsburgh, it was very close down to the wire. Baltimore rushed for like 200 yards, but they had too many turnovers, and at the end of the game, they had a chance to win, I think, in the red zone, but they couldn't convert. So they lost to Pittsburgh by like 4 points. But Lamar Jackson has coronavirus. It's unlikely that he plays on Tuesday against Pittsburgh. I don't even think it's possible he can clear the protocols in time. But even if he does play, Pittsburgh's really hot. Baltimore's cold. I like Pittsburgh here. I don't think Pittsburgh will go 16-0 for sure. They might slip up a game against Cleveland or something, especially if they've clinched the 1 seed. They're just like, whatever. They've said before, their goal is not 16-0. It's the Super Bowl. Got to respect that. But I think Baltimore, especially if Lamar Jackson's out, which is looking like, and they've also had a bunch of other guys on COVID, is likely not going to do too well in this Tuesday night game in Pittsburgh. Then we also have the 4th pick, New Orleans in Denver. Now, I didn't love the picks this week after those first 3, but I ended up going with New Orleans because the truth is, this seems like a trap game, right? Denver is a bad team, but they just had an upset victory over Miami. They've been playing kind of better. The problem is Drew Lock sucks. He's a turnover machine, and New Orleans is really hot right now. They're up to 8-2, maybe not. Yeah, I think 8-2. They've been playing really well. And over the last 2 years, when Drew Brees doesn't play for the Saints, they are undefeated. Teddy Bridgewater played a couple games last year when Brees got injured, and they won all of them, including some tough games like at Seattle. And Taysom Hill crushed the Falcons last week. Sean Payton's an incredible coach, incredible game planner. He can really devise great ways for Taysom Hill to get the ball into the end zone, whether it be with his legs, throwing the ball, doing a bunch of trick plays, whatever. Taysom Hill can play, and Sean Payton uses it really well. They only have to win by a touchdown. New Orleans is rolling right now. I mean, Atlanta's the division rival. Like, Atlanta always plays New Orleans tough, even when New Orleans is good and Atlanta isn't. And they beat them by, I think, 15, if not more than that. Like, they beat them by a solid margin last week. They're really good. When Drew Brees is out, no knock on Drew Brees, he's great. But it's just kind of an unexpected shift that the opposing team isn't used to. I think Taysom Hill gives them that element of surprise that Denver can't really prepare for. And I think Denver loses one at home. So, we have the Giants, we have Miami, we have Pittsburgh, we have New Orleans. Finally, I'm going Arizona at New England. New England is a 1.5-point underdog. I like Arizona on the road here. I know it's tough betting on a road favorite against a tough coach like Bill Belichick, but ultimately the Patriots are not that talented of a team. They have nothing at the skill positions on offense, and N'Keal Harry looks like a bust. Julian Edelman's out, and he's led the league in drops. He's past his prime. Jacoby Myers has been playing really well, but I don't know how much you can rely on him to really come through against a team like Arizona, who's in the thick of the playoff race, in the thick of the NFC West race, who's been playing really well. Kyler Murray, a lot of people, I think, overhype his MVP chances. He's had a really good year. Is he going to win MVP? No. When you have guys like Pat Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, whatever. But Kyler Murray's been playing really well. DeAndre Hopkins is one of the best receivers in the league. The defense has been doing better. They lost a tough one to Seattle last Thursday. They have extra time to prepare coming off of a semi-long week because they played on Thursday and now they're playing on Sunday. So I like Arizona here to only. It's pretty much just picking Arizona to win with a 1.5-point spread. And they're a much better team than the Patriots, who've kind of been falling apart. They upset Baltimore, but it seems more of like Baltimore's just on a losing streak than it was New England playing well. If you look at their last 3 games, right, one of them was the Baltimore win, which everybody's like, oh, New England's back. But the other 2 were an escape victory against the Jets, who are really, really bad, worst team in the league. They really had to pull one out. They were down a lot of points in that game to Joe Flacco, who's washed up in the Jets. And then they lost to Deshaun Watson to the Texans. Deshaun Watson has really been dealing the past couple weeks, but the Texans are still a bad team. So I like Arizona here. So, to recap, my 5 picks. New York Giants at Cincinnati, Miami Dolphins at New York Jets. I like Pittsburgh at home against Baltimore Ravens. I like New Orleans on the road against Denver. I like Arizona on the road against New England. I'm your boy Scott Gevertz here with The Last Word Sports. Be sure to let us know in the comment section who you guys like this week. If you're going to be using my picks, putting down some money on them, just let us know. Any suggestions for future videos. We're putting out more content, so we'd love to have any suggestions from you guys. Just reach out to us. As always, thank you for watching. I'm your host, Scott Gevertz. This has been The Last Word.